the worst of Omicron may be over for Africa's most industrialised economy. The government says South Africa may have passed the peak of the fourth wave. As you can see, I mean, if graphs tell the tale, then that would appear to be the case. Restrictions are slowly being lifted and some countries are easing travel bans. As you know, the United States has done so. There's concern that the South African economy is still at risk of stalling. Fani Titi is the CEO of Investec. Always good to see you, sir. How difficult has it been for Investec during Omicron?
Richard, compliments of the new year. The new variant was quite virulent in that it spread quite rapidly throughout the country, and there was a fear that it would paralyze the economy as such. But it became clear that the symptoms were quite mild, that hospitalizations were not increasing as expected, and in fact, that patients that were on ventilators were at very low levels compared to the last three waves. So as a consequence of this evidence that has come through over the last 4 or 5 weeks, the country is beginning to relax some of the restrictions. In fact, just before New Year, the curfew that has been in place overnight was relaxed and in fact eliminated. The country remains on level 1 of lockdown.
So from Investec's point of view, what are you looking for this year? In the sense of, we've just been hearing from Alliance Bernstein, and you've seen the Fed's results. You know, the Fed's going to tighten and arguably tighten out faster. So we know there's volatility. In this environment, Fani, what do you do?
Look, we have to be agile as an organization and navigate whatever the environment we have to operate in. I think our outlook is that the potential for a significant whiplash from COVID and the consequent lockdowns seems to be decreasing. So we hope to see more opening of the economy and as a consequence, more activity. We do expect that central banks across the world will increase interest rates. We see inflation being a big concern on the horizon, and that central banks have to act. But as a bank, this type of environment is actually quite positive for us. We remain very close to our customers and clients. And in South Africa specifically, we would hope that we would see a better environment in terms of the ease of doing business. We would see better stability in terms of electricity generation and electricity supply, because without that particular issue, you can't have an economy that grows.
You see, that's really the point, isn't it, in South Africa now? When you're when you're talking about, forgive the bluntness, but when you're talking about basic things like keeping the power on and keeping the lights on so that companies can stay open, should we be more optimistic for South Africa this year?
I would be more optimistic on the basis that some of the key issues that bedeviled the economy, like what we call state capture, which is an acronym for deep-rooted corruption, institutionalized corruption, we think that is being dealt with. We've just seen the report of the Commission on State Capture. We've seen a reopening of bids into the generation of power, particularly renewable energy. And we have been urging government to ease the load on businesses as such. So I think there are signs of optimism. And if the expectation that Omicron will not be severe while we learn to live with it and economic activity increases, I think we will be in a good space.
And we will talk to you, sir, as the year progresses to find out what's happening. I'm grateful.